So, what exactly is motivation? If you do a quick Google search, it'll tell you one of two things. One, it's the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way, or it is the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. Off the top of my head, my abridged definition of motivation is really the combination of these two things. And going forward in this video, I will consider all three definitions when discussing motivation. The question I would like to pose in this video is, what form of motivation often pushes you to do something? And what do these forms of motivation even look like? I'm sure from what you can tell from the title of this video, the two forms of motivation I would like to analyze are intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And to start, I would like to begin with intrinsic motivation. According to the National Institute of Health, intrinsic motivation is the act of doing an activity for its inherent satisfaction rather for some separate consequence. So, in the case of intrinsic motivation, you're not seeking to complete or engage in a task or challenge for external reasons such as money, praise, or some type of reward, but rather for the simple fact that there is pure joy and fulfillment in what you're doing or trying to complete. So, for instance, you don't paint a mural or write a song because you necessarily see profit in it, but because you genuinely enjoy painting this picture or composing these lyrics on this paper. As Mitch said in Paid in Full,
love the game.
He loves it. He loves
I love the hustle.
Hustle. Although, ironically, his motivations were rather external. Within the concept of intrinsic motivation, there's a sub-concept known as the 4 C's. These 4 C's are 4 ideas that attempt to explain the drive behind intrinsic motivational pursuits. It attempts to explain why or how we intrinsically employ things. And the 4 C's I will discuss will be kind of from my perspective and how I perceive them. There may be like a different educational, more actual definition of them, but I'll kind of explain them in the way that I see them personally in my viewpoint. So the first C is the challenge. This is when we attempt to pursue something by trying to confirm it ourselves or our belief in something. So, for instance, you can be a runner and you're trying to beat your previous time. It's the challenge. This is your top time. This is the best time that you've ever had. You're trying to beat it. Or if you're a nerd like me, you try to beat some Cuphead or Elden Ring level with some type of handicap to really see how skilled am I at this. Can I beat this while being severely handicapped in this difficult level? The second C is curiosity. Similarly to the challenge, we are intrigued by our ability to achieve and complete something. However, curiosity is not exactly rooted in trying to display a level of skill. It is just a genuine curiosity in trying something new. So say you pick up chess, or you want to learn how to play the piano, or you pick up a new language you're trying to learn. You just want to see if you can do it or if you would enjoy it, trying something new. The third C is control. This plays into our desire for autonomy. So when you extrinsically pursue something or extrinsically motivated to pursue something, you are reaching towards that goal. So oftentimes you have to play within the confines of that goal. And what I mean about this, say in sports, you want a trophy, you want a medal, there's some end goal. Well, to get that end goal, you might have to play within a system. You might have to play in a way that you don't like playing, that's not to your natural strengths. Maybe you like dribbling and you're relegated to being a sharpshooter that sits in the corner.
Okay, this is why I came here. But then it was like first game, it never was communicated to me that I was coming off the bench. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I was against it. I just wanted that up front. Because let me get my mental right. I never came off the bench ever in my life. ever. So, 15 years, and then now come off the bench. You know the pride and the ego blow that had on me. I'm like, dang, I gotta get my
When you attempt to write a song, maybe you have to make music within a genre that you typically don't like, but that's what gets the most listen. That's what people will listen to.
Any flaws in his music. In an interview with Shane Powers in 2018, Tyler selects one song he will delete from his discography.
If you could take back one song you made,
Buffalo. I made Cherry Bomb. I said, damn, they're gonna probably hate all these songs. Let me make one that's kind of sounding like Tyler. Even the delivery, I just hate it because I know it was forced and I know it was for a reason. Not what I wanted to do at the moment. I was doing it for fans because I knew that album was gonna probably throw them for a loop. And I hate that song and I wish I didn't do it, and I deleted the video off YouTube.
Or you're making content, and instead of doing videos the way you like it, or a process or topic you enjoy, you kind of have to think about what your audience will enjoy, what they'll tune into.
As it turns out, playing games out of obligation rather than leisure is a great way to suck all the enjoyment out of whatever you're playing. This leads to highly uncomfortable situations where people like Wings of Redemption force themselves to be publicly humiliated on a regular basis in a game they hate because it's the only way to pay his bills.
I'm already playing a game I don't want to play to get views.
However, when there's intrinsic motivation, you don't have to worry about ulterior motives or playing within a mold or something. You just do it because you want to do it. You don't have to worry about anything else. You operate the way you want to operate. It's like you have your own sandbox. You have a set of Legos, and they're your Legos. No one has to tell you how to build them. You build them the way you want to build them. If you want to build them as high or horizontally as you want, you could build it as abstract as you want or as concrete as you want. Again, it's your confines. You don't have to fit on any other mode to reach this goal because it's what you want to do. It's your enjoyment. And the fourth C is context, but I will save that a little bit for later in the extrinsic motivation category when we begin to talk about that, because I believe that context applies to motivation as a whole rather than just one part of being extrinsic or intrinsic. So then that gets us to extrinsic motivation. As you may have guessed by now, is the contrast to intrinsic motivation, and is desire to participate in an activity based on an external goal. Maybe it's to gather praise or win a competition, receive an award or payment, something like that. When you're engaging in extrinsic motivation or you're extrinsically motivated by something, you're not doing it for its own sake. You want something tangible out of the endeavor. And to clarify, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong about being extrinsically motivated about something. There's nothing wrong with wanting some type of goal or value. Just being aware of, your personality, your ethics, your morals, and how you plan to reach that goal can play into a factor of things getting kind of messy. But to me, there's nothing inherently wrong itself for wanting something, like extrinsic value out of something. But out of curiosity, what are some things that have extrinsically motivated you? Maybe you took on a job not because you enjoy this job, but there's a certain amount of money that comes with it. Bills got to be paid, rather than this enjoyment of interest, of course. Or maybe you did something to be recognized or to draw attention. Or interestingly enough, have you had something that started out as an intrinsic motivator, but then later became extrinsic? Take sports, for example. Maybe you kicked a soccer ball or picked up a basketball for the first time simply because you purely loved how fun it was. But then you later found out, what comes with it, what it's like to win, what it's like to garner praise from others for being an exceptional player, what it's like to receive awards or even some type of monetary status if you reach that type of level. Now, which was originally intrinsic, you just love playing it, but now those other things, the praise, the rewards, have become the sole focus for you now. And really that brings me to the last C, which is context. We often do things based on our surroundings, environment, upbringing, socioeconomic status, how wealthy we were growing up, our education status, and other adverse or positive experiences can motivate us to either consciously or even subconsciously pursue us to can become motivators for certain things. So, with that being said, I want to know, in conclusion, what have your experiences been like? Out of curiosity, do you find oftentimes that you're intrinsically or extrinsically motivated to do something? And why do you think that is? What kind of activities do you often engage in? Or are things often a combination of both? As we know, things often aren't always black and white, so maybe you go into an endeavor and there are extrinsic and intrinsic motivations behind it. But yeah, no real intent behind this. As I spoke before, this is a channel where I kind of just want to talk about whenever I feel like it. Just talk about whatever. And yeah, I just want to have a conversation about motivations. I don't know, really random, but yeah. Thank you.
Tyson Power!